take to enhance their performance. So we talk about true play, clean play, and making sure that athletes stay true to training and good food and that sort of approach to enhancing their body to make sure they compete fairly. So we want an even playing field where all the athletes are not taking any performance enhancing drugs to make their performance better than the other one. So we have to educate a lot, and the education comes in different ways because you have prohibited substances which are like anabolic steroids, which you can take to increase your muscle mass and help you in recovery from the sport. After you have an event, you recover quicker, and you have those. And then one of the main reasons why education is important is that you need to understand that some of these substances could be ingested innocently. So the athlete is responsible for what they put into their body, and you have to check the ingredients and make sure you know what's on the prohibited list and be educated about it, be on the know, because there's some medications that are on the prohibited list, but if the doctor gives it to you because you have a problem, you can have of what is called a TUE form, it's a therapeutic use exemption, so that you can use that drug because you have a problem, medical problem that requires that drug, and then if you are tested and that shows up in your urine or your blood, then you will be exempt from it because you have that form.
All right.
So it's all about education and making sure that all the athletes are aware of this, and the parents too, and the coaches and the personnel at the offices.
Doctor, so let me ask you, how much of a concern is this in terms of athletes in particular using drugs that maybe they're not even aware of? As you certainly do mention a while ago, sometimes folks are given medication for different reasons. They may be experiencing a pain or whatever, and they're given drugs which can hinder them in some way or the other, or sometimes for some reason or the other that particular drug innocently taking it may help to enhance their performance, which they may not likely know about. How much of a concern? How much of a concern is that?
That's a big concern. That's a big concern because it has happened already. It has happened from Guyana not too long ago to recently, and many of the islands right in our neighborhood, and even here as well. And so they just, it's the lack of education and the lack of reading all these stuff, because we are let me just give you the hierarchy. The hierarchy is WADA, which is a World Anti-Doping Agency. They are based in Montreal. They produce that prohibited list every year. And then you have the Caribbean RADO, which is based in Barbados, and they are associated with the whole of the islands in the Grenada. Grenada is affiliated to them. So you have that list that comes out every year, and they have a WADA website, and you can read up and understand. And we would like everybody who's listening to know what the WADA website is or the Caribbean RADO website is, and go up there and read and understand what's it, because the athlete is responsible for what they put into their body. You never get education that they need to understand. And it is a concern because sometimes that's really one of the reasons why we so focus on education. And then again, sometimes they just forget about it and they're so busy in the activity of competing and getting ready for the game, they forget about that part. So the personnel, the managers and the coaches come in here, they have to be on the ball about that as well.
Dr. Sonia, a key word you just mentioned that sort of grabbed my attention just a wee bit is some of the responsibility part of it. Who is responsible for this?
The athlete is responsible. The last job comes with the athlete. The athlete is responsible for what they put into their body. And if there's any trouble, they get the penalty for what they put into their body. And if there's any trouble, they get the penalty if they don't have the necessary documents to go with it. So the athlete can always say, well, you gave it to them, and then they would think they would get away because you this famous TV radio program and whatever, just as an example. But the athlete is going to get into trouble. They might investigate you as well to see if you trafficking it or if you're selling it or that sort of thing.
Would it come down to the option where the athlete should be questioning every time something is given to them, especially when it rules off of a medical use?
Oh yes, they have to be on the know. That's why we advise them to have the WADA app on their phone. So if they go to the doctor, they can just plug it in and see if the medication being given by the doctor is on that list. So they have to be educated about it. That's the bottom line.
And educate themselves most likely.
And thank you so much for having
the doping and the concerns that she has and the organization has and all. How has that been helping the Volleyball Association here in Grenada in terms of the information that was shared all the time?
Well, since I've joined Grenada NADO, we have made it our duty to make our athletes aware of everything involving anti-doping, everything involving their health and the necessity of being careful in what you put in your body and maintaining nutrition, good nutrition. We have been ensuring that every single athlete is reached. At every club, we have had a meeting. We've invited Dr. Johnson to meet with all our coaches around the island, and we have ensured that these coaches should have gone back to their clubs and created their own awareness program when it comes to drugs, the legal and illegal ones, what's allowed in nutrition in their clubs. So athletes for Volleyball Association, we believe that our athletes are aware. We have introduced them to the WADA site. We have encouraged them. There's also the ADEL platform. We have encouraged them to join it because that platform allows for further education if they are interested in going further than just having the general knowledge they want to on a course or get a certificate in something. That platform allows for that. So our athletes are aware. And so now that we have them going out to competitions, we have a lot of competitions coming up. It is something that we reiterate and encourage and remind them about. So we see an awareness in nutrition. We see an awareness and improved awareness in taking care of their body and being mindful of what they take and what they do not take.
Has there ever had an incident arising in Grenada, per se, in terms of, doping around the athletes? Have there ever been anything of that nature arising? I'm not sure if Dr. or Sonia want to chime in on that, or, of course, you, Ms. Bernard, want to chime in on that. Have we ever had an issue of that in Grenada? Is that even happening in Grenada? If we could ask that question.
Yeah, we had. Go ahead, Barbara.
For volleyball, recently we had a random testing when we returned from St. Martin, and happy to say our results were good. So for volleyball, I cannot say that we've had, but Dr. Johnson can speak since she's been in it longer.
All right. Yes, Dr. Johnson, I see you smiling a lot. I wonder why.
Because we had an incident once, and it was very untimely. It happened at the international sport meet, and there was somebody who represented Grenada who was he wasn't tested positive. He was charged for absconding. So now the issue here is what is doping. So we have many different things that is doping, and one of them is failure to provide a sample. So if I come up to you, you're an athlete and you just finished win the 100 meter, and I come up to you as the chaperone or the doping control officer. These are the officials that work with the association. So you are a doping control officer, and I come up to you and I say, you have been selected for testing, and you have to agree, basically, and there's a little part of the form where you sign for agreeing, and then you go to the doping control station and do all the testing with the urine, and you have rights and responsibilities. If you need to go for an award, or if you need to go to the physiotherapist, or if you need to go to start another race or so, then you are allowed. They charge you because you evaded testing.
All right.
So one person who evaded testing in Grenada, and he evaded testing in many other places and other situations. And so it was, I think he evaded more than 3 times, and that ended up in a charge with a penalty for it.
All right.
This is not somebody who grew up in Grenada. He was running for Grenada, but he's really born and grew up in America, and his parents were Grenadians, so they tried to incorporate him on the team.
Okay.
But that didn't work out so well. So there are many other things that come into play for having a positive test. So it's good that you ask that, so people will understand that you have to agree to the testing once you're selected, and you have to make sure you follow the procedures and abide by the rules.
Tell me, in terms of the various groupings in Grenada, in terms of sporting grouping and so forth, when you do have meetings with them, those who are part of the organization, how is the acceptance of the information, especially the educational part of it, and telling them about how is it accepted?
Oh, that's accepted pretty well. That's understood, because for you to have an event that's really recognized, you have to do anti-doping testing now. So you have to have testing. So you have to understand. And then the testing whole procedure, we really want people to understand about it, go on the website and look at it. And as Barbara pointed out, there's an NADO platform on the WADA website, which shows you, goes through a whole lot of education for everyone, for athletes or coaches, for parents, everyone. But the whole testing procedure is a little bit invasive, because you have to pass urine and you have to be observed passing urine. Right. So, and by any of this, it's really it's really a lot of just making sure it's understood and it's passed out and everybody knows about it. That's why the education is just so important. We look to people like you to help us really spread the knowledge to the country, and for all your guests listening in today, spread it out further, talk about it, and make sure the whole of Grenada kind of understands about the education. And it's there on the WADA website, it's there on the Caribbean WADA website, so you don't have to hear everything in detail right now. You can go look it up and read about it, and then it's spread further and further.
Now tell me, if there's organizations in Grenada that's who are probably someone is listening right now, part of a sporting organization, and they would like for your organization to be part of, in terms of coming on board and speaking to their of course their membership, how can that be done?
Oh, easy. They know me. My number is in the book, or we have an email, grenadanado@gmail.com. So easy, grenadanado@gmail.com. So they can write that, and then we will organize. We're trying to get a member of all the organizations on our organization, all the different sporting organizations. We write there for everybody. We hope that we're very easily contactable, and so we want people to come forward.
All right. Any closing comments from you, Dr. Johnson, once again? Of course, Ms. Bernard, any closing comments from you both before we take a wrap?
Before we go to Barbara, we just want to say that we've trained chaperones. We've trained chaperones in Grenada recently. And Barbara is a chaperone now. We do out of competition tests. WADA allows out of competition testing, which is when you're not in competition, they give a grant so we could do out of competition tests, and we're going to do about 13 this year. We encourage associations to do testing, even for social substances. We encourage to do that. And if you're a member of our organization that's not on our organization, please get in touch with us. We want you in our midst, and we really hope that we could have a good bond to really help Grenada go forward and make sure that no problems arise.
All right, thank you, Dr. Johnson. Barbara, any closing comments?
Yes, thank you. I would like to encourage our persons out in the community to be more vigilant, be more supportive. Our biggest problem at Volleyball Association is lack of sponsors, and we're hoping that persons now that we have this awareness program, that we're hoping that persons will come on board and assist with sponsorship and get more involved in other sports other than the football and the netball and those that are more common. Volleyball is back in Grenada. We're bigger and better than before. We have a lot of children that are interested. We have a lot of trips to make out of the island coming up in September and October. We have teams that have to go to play, so we're asking that persons reach out to assist with sponsorship, to assist in any way that they can. We have training. We will be having training regularly in Laborie and on the Carnage Court, and sometimes at Grenville Convent Had Court. So we're encouraging persons to come on board, and to whenever you see the athletes out there, no matter what sport it is, to encourage them, to look out for them. You see them eating something wrong, you see them doing something that you know is not right for the sporting activity, call out to them, speak to them, encourage our youths, because our youths are our future, and we are looking good in sports in Grenada. We have a lot of talent, we have a lot of potential, and we want our athletes to go very far. So we're asking that the public, everyone out there, look out for our youths, look out for our players, look out for our athletes, and please come out to the school games. We have games whole week from Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning, all the way down to 9 o'clock at night, from one game to the other. Come out and support our athletes. Come out in your red, yellow, and green and give our children this fullest of support every single day from Sunday to Saturday.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bernard, and certainly hope that you get the support. I want to thank you both for the shared information this morning. Definitely fruitful information, and I certainly hope that...
Thank you for hosting us. We really appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome.
All the best with your program.
Thank you so much also. Have a good day. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for the Mid-Morning Buzz here on the Classic Radio and the GBN TV. Join us again for another edition. We have another interview coming up. Stick around for that. That's up next. Stay with us here. It's the Mid-Morning Buzz. Stay with us, folks.
Spice Up returns to the Esplanade Mall courtyard. Spice Up the Esplanade. Every Wednesday and Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Spice Up the Esplanade. Your all-in-one Spice Mass event. Get a taste of everything Carnival. From music to mass, to food, to fashion. All things Carnival in one place. Esplanade Mall, July 7th to August 11th. Don't you miss it.
Maggie King of the Grill 2023 is made possible by Quartz, Grenada Limited, Rubis, the National Lotteries Authority, Coca-Cola, Coyapa Beach Resorts, and Duty Free Caribbean Holden.
Get ready to catch all the action. The CPL returns August 16th to September 24th. Be watching.
Grenada's broadcast of Republic Bank CPL 2023 is made possible by Republic Bank. We're the one for you. The National Lotteries Authority, Grenlec, and Hard-On Plus.
COVID-19 spreads from person to person through the droplets that are produced when someone coughs or sneezes, which makes it easy to spread between people in close contact. Now let's get prepared to stay healthy.
To reduce your chance of catching or spreading COVID-19, practice these simple everyday preventative measures. Droplets can also land on surfaces, so ensure that you wash your hands frequently for a minimum of 20 seconds or sing the happy birthday song twice. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. If soap and water are not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with an alcohol content between 60 and 90%. 70% is ideal.
When you cough or sneeze, cover your nose and mouth with a flexed elbow or a tissue. Dispose of the tissue immediately and then wash your hands. If you notice someone has a fever and cough or other symptoms of respiratory illness, avoid close contact when possible. Let's all do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. Our health